sport, some straight talking from Amir Khan. He's back home in Bolton and preparing to take on the world. But he's had little time to savour the biggest win of his career so far. So Amir Khan, the chance to catch up on your life and times, and interesting times most certainly. Tell us first about your recent trip to Pakistan.
So yeah, you know, after every fight I like to go to Pakistan. I have a huge fan base over there. It's a little bit like how Manny Pacquiao lives in the Philippines. You know, you can't walk the streets there or anything, and he's got billboards and pictures all over the place. So I had to go there to show my respects, and obviously it was after the fight, a couple of days later, I found out that there was a big shooting in a school. Innocent children were killed. Over 130 children got killed in Peshawar. So while I was in Pakistan, I decided to go to Peshawar and show my respects. And I was getting calls from all over saying, look, I think it's too dangerous for you to go there. If I was you, don't go there. But me being a name in Pakistan and having people following me, I thought, you know what, it's my duty to go there and show my respects and give these kids confidence to go back to school again.
You were warned about your own safety while you were there. Were you under protection?
I had the army with me, and they took me up in the helicopter to the area where it happened. Obviously, you have to be very safe, you know, when you go to a place like Pakistan. It is like a third world country. There's a lot of problems there happening. But look, I've got God on my side, and I just have to stay strong. And obviously, these people need people like myself. You know, I'm probably one of the only role models they have. So they need people like myself going there and showing support. And when they see me, it gives them confidence that, you know, people from Pakistan can go places and get to places. I want people to follow my footsteps. You know, there's always a lot of bad people, but I want people to follow my footsteps and follow the routes I go through, you know. So hopefully they can be like Amir Khan.
You have opened up a whole new area of popularity out there, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, yeah. And I only started by showing my fights over there. I mean, no one knew me before. I was a huge name in England and getting big in America, and still in Pakistan, only a very few people knew me who were involved in, who like sport. And it was only when I started showing my fights in Pakistan, I gave them the rights, and it went crazy for me. I couldn't believe it. When I go there now, it's like I cannot even walk on the streets.
Have they been watching your fights in recent times?
Yeah, they watched the last fight against Devon Alexander. They watched the last fight, the previous fight against Collazo. They've even watched the fights I got beaten, and obviously they were very sad. It's like they lost the fight, you know, and obviously they're always telling me, look, you need to get that rematch back with Garcia, and I'm like, I'm trying, but I can't get it. So you can see deep down it hurts them as well as it hurts me, you know, having lost that fight. But there's a lot of love shown there. And just like it is in England. So, you know, it's just great to be in a position like this. I'm a British Pakistani, and I can go to both nations and have so much love.
Fantastic. And of course, you were already on a high after this performance against Alexander. I presume you've nearly worn out the tape looking back over it.
Yeah,
and you're entitled to do that.
Yeah, I was on my computer just about a week ago, going through everything and watching the last fight again.
Are you still getting that glow of satisfaction off that performance?
Yeah, and I was still watching it and thinking, made a few mistakes, and there was times where in the early few rounds I was still kind of rushing in a little bit, but and it was towards the end of the fight, like from 6 rounds on until the 12th round, I started to settle down a little bit. I think all the time I always start fast, and I need to just settle down a little bit more quicker, really. And I think that's where the mistakes happen in my fights, is I start off too quick. And I was watching that thinking, okay, next time I need to change this and change that. But Virgil Hunter, my trainer, I mean, he's made a massive difference in my style. He's helping me, he's teaching me the right things, and everything's just coming together, you know, now, and I think it's time.
Out of 10, how many for that win, for you?
I'd probably give it probably 8.5 or 9. I still think there's a lot of improvement to be made. At times, I did rush in a little bit, but once I settled down, you know, it was going well. So, like I said, I criticised myself the most, really, and I was watching the fight, thinking, why did I do this? Why did I do that? But, yeah. Hopefully in the next fight I'll just keep on improving.
Last word on the Alexander fight. Were you conscious in the build-up to it? I'm thinking about an incident that happened in Nigel Benn's career, where basically at one period he went to America and fought Doug DeWitt during that period, and it was absolutely all or nothing at that point in Benn's career. He had to prove himself. He did it, and things started to turn for the better. Did you see it in those kind of terms?
It was, yeah. It was a 50-50 fight between me and Devon Alexander, and it was, you know, winning everything or getting nothing really from this fight. and we were both in the same position. So the winner was going to go on and on to bigger fights, and the loser would have gone back to probably still, international level, but not at the highest level. So it was a very tough fight. There was a lot of pressure on both of us, really. So that's what made this fight even more exciting, because we knew that, look, whoever loses is done. Whoever wins, it'll go on to probably fighting someone like Manny Pacquiao or Mayweather. So yeah, obviously when I was the build-up for the fight, he seemed very confident he was going to go through this fight and win this fight quite comfortably. And obviously, the news from everybody and the writers were always saying it's going to be a 50-50 fight. Obviously, we're both coming off wins, and we've had, obviously, in our previous fights...
But you were new to welterweight still, weren't you?
I was still new in the welterweight division. I only had one fight and had a really good fight against Clauso. He had numerous fights at welterweight, also held the world title at welterweight. So yeah, but I knew what to do in that fight, because it was made for me about a year ago before we fought each other. It was made, and I didn't take that fight because I thought the Mayweather fight was there for me. So I pulled out of that fight, but I was already training and I had it back in my mind. Plus, on top of that, I had that southpaw training with when I was fighting against Clauso, so I had that advantage. I already fought southpaw. So yeah, it was. I knew it was going to be a tough fight. I just had to stay focused throughout the whole fight. And I know one thing about me is, if I get into a fight, I lose that focus and I lose that game plan. It goes out the window, and I just have to make sure that I stick to the game plan.
You did box beautifully in spells in the fight. Immediately after it, did you sense the reception? Okay, now I'm on the map.
Yeah.
Did you find that tangibly?
Yeah,
I mean,
it hit me when I saw the big billboard and it had my picture on there, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is where I've always wanted to be. I've always wanted to be in a position like this where I've got my picture all over Vegas. And I was looking at my hotel room and I could see on the strip of Vegas there's a massive poster of me outside the MGM arena. There's a big poster just not far from the airport, and also there's this massive screen where they keep showing the fight and my old previous fights. And I thought, wow, this is what you've always dreamt for. This every fighter's dream is to fight in Vegas, but to have your name lit up on the Vegas Strip. And I did that, and I was like, wow, I can't believe this. But then after that great performance, and that's one thing about me is, when it's a huge event, that kind of gives me that, motivation, that little kick as well to put a better performance on and prove myself.
And that is why we're here to talk to you today. Now, ever since you stepped out of the ring against Alexander, of course, the speculation has just grown and grown. So our own boxing news here at home, that's the same week. Welter skelter, what next for Amir Khan as he gets himself into the race properly again, at welterweight this time. And, of course, we'll get to Kell Brook and what part he may play in your future a little bit later on. But, there are some stellar names, and you're in there. As we sit here today, do you believe that Mayweather and Pacquiao will be meeting soon?
Honestly, that fight will never happen, in my opinion. I spoke to Manny Pacquiao, and obviously we speak to Mayweather and his team. I can't really see that fight happening. There's just too much, politics in that fight. You've got different promotion teams, you've got different management teams, and I don't think, they'll let that fight happen. Plus, then you've got Manny Pacquiao.
Wait, here we are in February. Okay, we've been waiting for the announcement that it's on, and you're telling our viewers on BT Sport you don't think
I don't think it'll happen. I mean, I don't know. Look, it could happen, and if it does happen, then I'm a big boxing fan, and I'd love to see that fight, because being a boxing fan, I said, look, I want either one of them guys. Now, if either one of them, if both of them were fighting each other, I can't argue against that, because I'm a boxing fan and I'd love to see that fight, just like yourself and everyone else. It's a fight I've always been waiting for, and it's never happened. But it's been that long now, I can never see it happening. And also, all the negotiations, they've not even started. I spoke to Manny Pacquiao when he came to London. He invited me to his press day.
What was said at your meeting between the two of you?
We spoke, obviously, his manager, Michael Khan, is a friend of ours. Obviously, Manny's a friend as well, because we used to train together, been to the Philippines with him and stuff. And he invited us. He called my uncle Taz and said, look, why don't you come over to the press day? And maybe we can have a little chat. Prior to that, just before the Alexander fight, I got a phone call off them saying, would you ever be interested in a Manny Pacquiao fight? This is Michael Khan's manager. And I thought, well, we are friends, but look, it's business. I mean, I probably would, yeah. That'd be a good fight for us. It's a good storyline as well, having Freddie Roach and trained by him, and we spar with each other and everything. So it's a good storyline with it. He said, okay, let's get past this fight and we'll give you a call again. As soon as the fight happened, he called me, wishing me all the best before the fight. And then after I won the fight, you know, he said, well done. Manny came on the phone, said hi to me and stuff. Then when they came to London, they invited us. I went to the press day. All the media went crazy thinking that we're kind of doing a deal for the fight. We did speak about the fight. Obviously, they said, look, both of us are in the same position where we're waiting for that big Mayweather fight. Now, if that doesn't happen, then why don't we just get it on ourselves? And he was like, yeah, well, why not? And he kind of agreed to it. So hopefully within the next week or so, if the Mayweather fight doesn't come off, I mean, where's Mayweather going to go? In a way, he's cornered in a way, because the only way he can go is left or right, and that's Manny Pacquiao or Amir Khan.
The fact you and Pacquiao did spar together so much, how does that influence a possible fight?
I think it'll be good for me in that sense, because I know what to expect from Manny Pacquiao. Also, you know, I've changed my style since. By being with Virgil, I've become more calmer. My defense has improved a little bit more. Whereas Manny Pacquiao was still the same old fighter that he was when we sparred. When I sparred Manny Pacquiao, he was probably at his peak because he was training for the fight against Miguel Cotto. He was training for the fight against Oscar de la Hoya. And so I think I'll have maybe a bit of an advantage there because I know what to expect from him. Plus, I sparred him at his best when he was at his peak. So yeah, we know what to do in that fight.
Did you learn a lot from him?
I learned a lot from him, honestly, and I want to thank, you know, Freddie and also Manny Pacquiao for giving me that opportunity, because I learned so much of that sparring session than I did in the whole journey with Freddie Roach. Because obviously, when you're in the ring with someone like Manny Pacquiao, who's the best fighter in the world at that time, he was pound for pound #1, and he was knocking everyone out. And it was because I did so well against him that my confidence boost, you know, the boost I got from that was huge. So,
and what struck you most about him at that time?
It was just his timing and the way he puts his punches together quite well. And a lot of power, he has a lot of power. So, and I was only at 140 at that time. Well, the first time we sparred, I was at 135. I was getting ready for the Barrera fight. Yes. And he was...
you were lightweight, really, still?
I was a lightweight then. Then I moved up to light welterweight. And when I was a world champion, that's when we started sparring each other again. And I was fighting for the Judah fight. I was training for the Judah fight, and he was a southpaw, so Judah was a southpaw. So we did a lot of sparring there. And at times I got the better of him. And that camp, I did get the better of him all the time. Every spar I got the better of him. I used to push him back. I used to hurt him. And that's when I got the that's when his team told Freddie Roach, look, we don't want Amir and Manny sparring anymore.
Is it true that you ended up actually using the same gym but at different times of the day?
Yeah, then that's what started happening. Yeah, that's what started happening. I could just see that. I mean, things between them were cool, but we started running at different times. We started training at different times. We never started to train. We never trained at the same time from then on. And but I still used to go to the Philippines, but still we had our own time. And I think in that sense, you know, you could say that maybe Freddie wanted that because he wanted to give me 100% and he wanted to give him 100% time. But it was just all that traveling and everything that used to kill me, really. Going to the Philippines and back, because obviously he was the main priority. So we had to follow whatever Manny Pacquiao wanted.
This program is sponsored by Boxnation. FA Cup, you're either in or you're out. The fourth round was shocking, but Allardyce is in and Tony Pulis is in. The club shop. And thanks to your tweets, we know that you're all in. It's the FA Cup fifth round with 3 more games live on BT Sport 1.
Remember in the beginning, when you loved to explore, to examine, to ask. Why stop now? New Citroën C4 Cactus, Top Gear Magazine's Hatchback of the Year.
Citroën, créative technologie. This is not a screen. This is a window. Or two. This is a front row seat. And it's seeing in the dark. It's a camera. That's also a notebook. Because this is not a screen. This is the all-new Samsung Galaxy Note 4.
Not even met him and you're already dumping him.
Like it. Nice recovery.
Looks like it's tippy toes time again.
Gotta love a girl in heels. And out of them.
If you don't like your imperfections,
someone else will.
At Match.com, you'll find more ways to meet new people. Join free today.
Sport. We all talk about it. But I get to live it. I get the VIPs from A to B. Is this the closest you get to sport? No. That's Betway. Live streaming, live odds, bet in play. Because whatever you think you know, right now, anything could happen.
With a free bet worth up to £50. Live sport, bet your way at betway.com.
Attention passengers, we'd like to demonstrate how you won't have to tighten your belts. We request that you switch on all mobile and tablet devices and go to fairfx.com. Please review how many more euros or dollars you could get. Oxygen masks are provided. If you haven't used fairfx.com, the exits are situated here, here, and here. For a fair foreign exchange rate, go to fairfx.com.
Imagine transforming your existing staircase in as little as 48 hours, with no mess, no fuss, and best of all, no building work. Neville Johnson will replace almost every element of your staircase, making it the feature you've always dreamed of. From contemporary glass and steel to timeless traditional timbers, we will guide you through the huge choice of designs. So visit nevillejohnsonstaircases.co.uk today for your free brochure, and you could transform the heart of your home in as little as 48 hours.
Matchday Live has fantastic football to kick off your weekend this Saturday. Fletch and Sab are live from White Hart Lane, building up to the North London Derby. With all the news and scores on Sports Hub at 3, followed by Hamburg-Hanover in the Bundesliga. And high-flying Juventus host AC Milan in the Serie A. Matchday Live this Saturday, only on BT Sport 1.
This programme is sponsored by Boxnation.
Do you think if you'd have taken the Alexander fight when it first came round, by now you and Mayweather would be made?
Yeah, I think that probably would have happened. Because obviously...
So was that a career mistake?
Yes, it was, yeah. Obviously, I thought it wasn't a mistake. I thought it was the right move to make. It gives me more time to train for a Mayweather fight. And but what I did wrong was not pull out that fight. Where if I had won that fight against Alexander the first time, I would have been the IBF world champion. I would have had a title with me and something to offer Mayweather.
Yes.
At that time, after a good performance against someone like Devon Alexander. But because I didn't take that fight, I went on, took a long time out. But in thinking about it though, I think it was good for me to do that because I did spend a lot of time with my trainer. All that time, I spent just over a year out at the gym, out at the ring. The fighting ring, and in that time I was in the gym training with Virgil, working on my strength conditioning. I didn't eat myself up to 147. I worked my way up to 147, so I knew I was strong physically, and you can see the power in the Colossal fight. I had the power there, the speed there, the movement. My body was I was still in good shape. I wasn't soft anywhere or anything. So I did everything right, and that's why maybe I beat Alexander and Colossal so comfortably, because of all that training I did in that 1 year.
Certainly, I don't think anybody would dispute, on the basis of what we saw against Alexander, you are now at your peak as a fighter at 28. And, you know, the biomechanics and everything suggest that's probably the case. Yeah. In terms of your career, can we clarify first? You are a free agent. Is that the case?
Yeah, I'm a free agent. Got no promoter.
Advised by Al Heyman.
Advised by Al Heyman, and I have no TV deal now.
And I did read that Golden Boy are not seeing the world in quite the same way.
No, but everything in black and white is in constant contract.
So they're wrong and you're right.
Yeah, obviously, I am a free agent, and obviously the deal I had with Golden Boy Promotions and Showtime were together. So as soon as one of those finished, my deal all went was over with. The only deal I have in boxing is with Al. Al's my advisor. He advises me what moves to make and what to do. So I'm in a great position because if the Manny Pacquiao fight was to happen on HBO, that fight could be made. If a Mayweather fight was to happen, that can happen on Showtime. That could be made. So I'm in a very good position. Plus, Al Heyman.
You are in a great position as long as the phone does ring. So if we have to wait another 3-4 weeks, you know, you are in training again.
I am in training now, yeah.
But you can't prepare for a fight because you don't know who you're fighting.
Exactly, and Mayweather and Pacquiao have a total different style. Well, Mayweather's an orthodox fighter who's more of a counter-puncher, whereas Pacquiao is a pressure fighter, aggressive fighter, and he's a southpaw. So you have to change a lot of things. But I think these first few weeks are going to be mainly fitness and strength.
There is another element to this, though, from your side, isn't there? You have to plot your year very carefully.
That's right.
You need to appear in a fight in May, and your planning for the rest of 2015, as we call it, does revolve around Ramadan's timing. Right. And Ramadan on our calendar is coming forward this year, to, I think, into July. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
So
it's quite hard for me.
That dictates a lot of things, doesn't it?
It does, definitely, because I normally take the whole of Ramadan off.
You can't train, or you could, but you won't train.
Yeah, and it's quite hard for you, you know, because the Ramadan's such a, I mean, the fast has such long hours, so it'll probably do me more damage training while I'm fasting than probably benefiting me. So I'll probably just take the whole Ramadan off, and then I'll need another month after that just to kind of recoup and get all that, my body back to normal again, hydrated and everything else. So I think I'll be off for like 2 months. So yeah, I mean, 2 fights a year, I think that stops me. I mean, before I used to be 3 fights a year because Ramadan used to be more late in the year, but now I think it'll have to be 2 fights a year. So I'll be already fighting May, around May time, I'm looking at. May, mid-May I want to fight. And then, obviously, Ramadan comes, I'll take time off there and go back into training camp again and maybe fight again in November or December.
So let's say it's not to be Mayweather or Pacquiao for a May date. Give us a clue.
Well, I think if it's not Manny Pacquiao or Mayweather for May, I think it could be someone like Marquez, could be someone like Tim Bradley. There's names I've been mentioned like Algieri, could be
a top 10 recognised, established
name. That's right. Yeah, it has to be.
That's what you need now, isn't it?
That's what I'm at that level now where I need to fight the top guys, and obviously I put my position in the top 10, so I want to fight the top guys.
Have you made any approaches to any of these fellas yet?
I'm not. No, I'm just waiting for the news from Al Heyman. He should be calling in the next few days. I mean, when he speaks to my dad and we know where we stand exactly, then I can go out to the opponents and tell him who to approach.
And the theory of your plan would be, you know, you're starting back at home here in Bolton, right. Yeah. And then at some point in the next few weeks you'll go back to San Francisco and get down to your hard work.
Yeah,
is that right?
I mean, I flew out Tony. Tony's been here with me for a week already, and we've Tony Brady,
your conditioner.
Yeah. So he's been with me for about a couple of days now. He's been helping me do my strength conditioning and stuff. So he's been helping me with that. And so when I do go back to San Francisco, I'll be ready. I can go into hard training straight away. Well, in the meanwhile, you know, we've got people like Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao traveling around the world. So at least I'm getting a head start, regardless who it is going to be against. But I'm getting a head start.
So, 2015, we have a date in May. Hopefully it's a big name. And it's going to be in America. But what strikes me today is, and I'm very surprised to be saying this to you, you're a home bird. You're back here in Bolton. You could be out on the beach in Malibu in our winter weather here.
No, you're right. I mean, I love England, and it's always nice to come back home. And because I do a lot of charity work as well and stuff, I think this is a time where now I do a lot of my charity work. I do all my appearances, meet fans, go around different states, do a lot of boxing talk, dinner events, talk shows and stuff. Do a lot of media stuff as well while I'm here, because I always spend a little time over here. So there's no point me running off to a beach or something. I mean, I had a little break with my family, went to Dubai for a week, and that was enough for me. Then also went to Pakistan as well for a week. So that's me done. I'm happy. I've had a nice little holiday, a nice little break. I think it's time for me now to spend time at home and give people a chance to see Amir Khan.
But it's, again, clear to me, if you don't mind me saying, you view your life in America San Francisco, we think it would be very glamorous. That's you going to work.
That's me going to work.
And you're not putting down roots over there.
No, exactly. I mean, when I go to San Francisco, I mean, it's no holiday for me. It's all work. Waking up in the morning at 6 a.m., going for a run, going to bed at like 9 p.m. So it's full-time work for me. It's like when you get up in the morning, go to the office, I wake up in the morning, go to the gym. And also I'm watching my diet at the same time. I don't see anyone. I'm isolated in a way where I don't have my friends around me or anyone. So it does become very boring. But look, it's just one of them things. For me to be the best at my sport, I have to be really focused.
I have a strong feeling today talking to you that, you know, this is such an important period in your life now. You've got a beautiful little baby. You're 28 years of age. You should be in your fighting prime, and we hope that you are. And how would you see your life developing from this point?
Well, I think these are the last few years left in my career, really. I think, you know, this is a time where I need to give it all what I have in me, give it 100%, and, you know, have the biggest fights in boxing. I mean, the Mayweather is the biggest fight for me in boxing, and hopefully I can get that fight. I believe I'm in my peak now. I feel strong. I feel in great condition. And, you know, in the future, the likes of Manny Pacquiao could be one of the opponents again. There's talks about Kell Brook fight happening in the UK.
He does have a world title.
Yeah.
He defends in March. Happily, he's fit to go on with his career. What's in it for Amir Khan?
I mean, for me, it could be a big fight in the UK. I think the UK fans would love to see a fight like that because it's always big when there's two British guys who are the top 10, who are in the top 10 in the world. And obviously, there's always been talk between us two fighting each other. So I think, you know, if ever happens, I think it'll be a big fight for the UK fans. Plus having it in the UK, maybe at somewhere like Wembley Stadium, I think will sell out. It'll be huge. So that fight is in the pipeline, and I think it could happen in the future. But at the moment, I'm still focusing on the big name like the Mayweathers and the Manny Pacquiaos and the Marquezes, because the thing is, those guys they're no longer going to be around for the next couple of fights. So I think I need to catch them now, or I'm going to lose that chance on fighting them. Kell Brook will always be there. He's young. I think he's similar age to me. So that fight will always be there for me. But my Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao won't.
It's been fantastic catching up with you today. This is a special time in your life in many ways, isn't it now?
It is, you know. It's been very special because obviously I've got my little girl now, Lamaisa. I'm a married man. I'm just happy the way things are going for me. Boxing's going great for me. I have my new trainer, Virgil. We're just bonding right, and everything's just coming together really well, exactly how I wanted it to. And I'm just very happy the way my career is going.
And we weren't always able to say that 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Exactly. You always have your ups and downs. And, you know, one thing about me is I've tasted that. You know, I've been right to the bottom where a lot of people thought I'll never come back from it.
How much did you doubt yourself when you lost twice in a row?
I did doubt myself a little bit, but then I knew in me that I had that, you know, had that in me where I could go back to the top again. I can get back to where I need to be. So hopefully everything's going to plan. And at the moment, everything's going to plan. So let's keep it going that way and go for them big super fights. I think that's the only fights left for me.
Amir Khan on top of the world. Thank you very much for talking to us on BT Sport. And come and see us again soon. Okay?
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
This programme is sponsored by Boxnation.